Hi friends, I'm Juno. Welcome to this extra special pick a card reading. I decided to come out into nature today, so we'll see how this video works. Hopefully the sound is able to project well enough. We'll figure it out in post. I'm assuming I have enough battery to do this whole video out here, but if I don't, you'll find out in one of the piles. Okay, so we've got a pick a card reading today with messages for what you are ready to let go of in your life. I'm filming this on the day of the full moon. It's probably not going to get posted until a little bit after that, so this is a timeless reading. It can be for any time, but just a reminder that full moons are an excellent time for releasing things and letting things go. So in that vein, we're going to be asking the cards today, what are some things that you are now ready to let go of that maybe you didn't realize? So I've got 3 piles for you to choose from. I'll show you the piles in just a moment, but before I do, I'm going to have a quick 30-second nature meditation for you. So this will just be a quick 30 seconds for you to clear your mind, get back into the flow of you, so to speak, and then after that 30 seconds, I will show you the 3 piles. Choose between pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3. The first one that really jumps out at you and calls to you, that's your pile. You can find a link to the piles down in the comments section below, and then from there you'll have your reading. So thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in with me, and here's your nature meditation. Hi there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. I'm so excited to be doing this outside in nature in my favorite park in Seattle. We're here live in Interlaken Park. So welcome. This is honestly my secret nature spot that I go to all the time, that I absolutely adore and love, and I'm happy to welcome you here. So, like I said before, hopefully I can get all 3 readings in with the battery. We will see. I believe in my iPad, so we'll find out here. We'll dive right into your reading here. We'll start with the runes. You have Hagalaz, which hopefully you can see these a little bit. If not, I don't know, we'll figure it out. This is the rune of separation. It can mean separation, it means sort of change. It means kind of ending a difficult cycle and beginning a new one through removing yourself from a situation sometimes. And then we have Algiers, which is it can be the North Star rune, your guiding light. I've also heard it called the path of the spiritual warrior. It's following your insight and your intuition. It can also be a protection rune. It was used as a protection symbol. If we were to turn it upside down and draw a circle through it, it would be the peace sign. So it has peace connotations to it as well. This sort of things are all right. Remember, this is a reading of things that you're ready to let go of, so to have the separation rune in this reading makes a lot of sense, and to follow your own inner voice and guidance while doing it. It makes sense. We've got 2 cards from the Shamanic Healing Oracle. Normally I read from the book the descriptions of these cards because I really like the writing style, and I like to give you somebody else's words as well as mine. Unfortunately, I forgot the book today when I went out into nature, so you'll just have my own channeling and understanding of these cards for you. So you have It's All Good, which is great, super self-explanatory. Things are okay. And you have Ancient Wisdom, coming into some ancient insights deep within yourself, unlocking those things, and having those be your guiding light. Let's get into your tarot cards here. We'll start with the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. You have the Queen of Pentacles, the Hanged Man, the Queen of Swords, the Three of Pentacles, and your final card is the Emperor. And for the hand-drawn deck, this deck I made myself, we've got the Six of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, the Fool, and your final card is the Two of Cups. All right, so let's just jump right in here. I think that you are coming into a period where you are being asked to unite with your own inner being, your own inner wisdom, because we have Ancient Wisdom, the Algiers rune, and the Two of Cups here. It really, to me, is all signifying this idea that potentially you feel in your life right now that you're really stuck and stagnant. We have the Hanged Man here. The Hanged Man represents being in this kind of period of nothing's moving forward. Things are kind of stuck in place. But what's great about the Hanged Man is that this period is not for nothing. It's coming as a, you've been slowed down in your life in order to gain further insight. You see this, like, he's got a halo around his head here. And that's indicating that there's opportunity for you to gain further insight from being in this silenced, stuck period. So, in order to get out of this, you've got to come into your own inner light and inner wisdom. We've got the Two of Cups here. The Two of Cups talks about uniting with the opposite forces, uniting the divine masculine and divine feminine, coming together to create a larger whole. So this can either indicate the uniting of these forces within one person or the coming together of two separate people. In this reading, for what's happening, I really do get the sense that this is you coming into alignment with your own sense of self and inner being, and that by doing that, you will gain the insight in order to understand what it is you're actually ready to let go of. So we've got that. You've got the Fool here, which talks about being in a new journey, right? Today is a brand new day. So it's time to let go of any past energy that's holding you back, any situations from your past that aren't really working anymore. The idea is that you're in a new journey, you're in a new moment, and anything that's come before you, you can let go of those things. Oh, excuse me. You're totally capable of moving forward from that place. The Fool is normally indicated as he's standing on the face of a cliff, kind of blindfolded, so he's about to dive into a whole new reality, a whole new life that he couldn't have even imagined, and if he wasn't blindfolded, he wouldn't necessarily take the plunge, right? So it's asking you to have faith and to jump into these new circumstances, regardless of whatever difficult situation you might feel it'll be, right? That to stay in this hanged up energy is actually worse for you than to just take this plunge into the new life that's really waiting and calling for you. You've got the Five of Pentacles here, which talks about being in a dark night of the soul period. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's depicted as two kind of desolate people out in the snow in front of a church in the middle of the winter. So it's kind of this like time of darkness and kind of destitute sadness. So that can be emotionally within or your surrounding life without. whatever the case, I think that you've been going through some difficult periods, especially because we had the Hanged Man as well. I think you feel stuck, and I think that maybe it's this larger dark night of the soul kind of a situation. The thing about those dark night of the soul situations is they kind of come into our lives as lessons, giving us understanding and wisdom with our challenging situations. So as much as we have a challenging situation, the idea is we have the power to change our perspective about that situation and start to see it from a place of difficulty and being the victim to seeing it as growth opportunity, seeing the guiding light and lessons within those difficult, dark situations that can then pull you through it. And not only that, but show you the deep resilience of your own inner being that you actually have, no matter what, right? So I think that you were in that kind of situation, but I think that you're ready to come out of it. And it's coming from this uniting with your own inner being, from this Two of Cups here, your inner sense of you. You're being asked to do that and really come into your own here. And I think that you're going to be very successful at this because, you've got the Six of Wands here, which is the Victory card. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card, it's a person who's riding forth on a horse, celebrating with the citizens around him in victory. You have won this battle. You've won this challenge. So you're coming out of this victorious. But it's going to take some work. You've got the Seven of Pentacles card here, which talks about putting in the work. He's waiting for his crops to be grown, and he's just about ready to harvest them. So he's put in a tremendous amount of work already, but he still has to put in a little bit extra in order to go the extra mile to really complete his journey and harvest everything that he's worked on. He's worked very, very hard, and he's almost ready to reap those rewards, but there's just a little bit more left that has to be done. And because this is a reading of what you need to let go of, I think for you, it's time to let go of certain people, because you have two queens here. You've got the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So to me, this is kind of you have to do one in order to get the other. So in order to get into this successful Pentacles energy, which is material abundance, manifesting a situation in the physical world, so money, job, security, health, these things that you're looking for your material surroundings. In order to do that and to be successful, it looks like there are some energies or some people or something around you that you're ready to cut out. So this could also be deeply internal as well, right? Because the Queen of Swords, she is sort of, the swords are all about the mental body and the mental energy. And so they're all about our minds and how our minds work. And a lot of times the Queen of Swords can represent needing to cut something out of your life. And I think for you in particular, there may be some thought patterns, some things that are kind of circling around in your mind continuously that just keep coming up, that are bringing you back into this stuckness, this stuck energy, and reminding you of the difficult and dark times that you've had in your life. But I think that you're ready to let that go. So you kind of need to cut cords with your own self, in a sense, of certain situations that you've been through. It's time to really be mindful of these thought patterns that are going through. What are the thoughts that are going through your head? And you don't need to be like militant or anything, but just when you start to see yourself going on a roll where you just like are in this roll where you're falling down, catch yourself, right? I think that it's time to catch yourself and see that. I think you're ready to see that when that happens and say, hey, look, self, like put up some boundaries. Like, I understand that this is where that I've been, but I would like to calm myself now, right? And it's easier said than done, trust me. But it's kind of like whenever you see yourself going down some kind of anxiety thought train, catch it and take a break. Change your situation, change just your scenery, slow down, slow your breathing, You know, if what is your environment right now? Look around you. Are you stuck in a room that's messy? Like either A, maybe it's time to clean up a little bit, or B, just go outside, you know, or go somewhere else. If are you surrounded by people that you are having a tough time with, then just take a moment and go somewhere else and go into a quiet place by yourself and deep breathe and come back into you and your own inner sense of self, right? And by coming back into and uniting with the larger forces within you, you give yourself the chance to calm yourself and come back into center and centered being. And you know, and remind yourself with this "it's all good" card, remind yourself that everything's okay, right? That even in challenging situations, there's always something to be grateful for. um, I know that I've worked a lot with gratitude meditations, and those have been incredibly helpful for me. There's a bunch on YouTube if you check them out. But it's looking around in your life and remembering and realizing that there are many things out there for you to be grateful for, and that by doing that, by really tuning into the things in life that you're grateful for, it can be anything. Like, I am grateful that I have a place to sleep tonight. I am grateful that there is food on my table right now. I am grateful that I have this strong body that brings me through my life. You know, things like that. By flipping the script and focusing on these things that are grateful for, that are you have lots of gratitude for, it allows you to come back into a place of calm and center within yourself. And then that will help you connect with the things you need to. So I think that for you, I think what's really standing out to me, the thing that it's time to let go of, is this sense of disconnection you might have within yourself that's coming from negative thought patterns. You know, I can see that you've probably been through some challenging things in life, and you know, that's hard. It's really hard to go through challenging things. But the final card that I haven't mentioned is the Emperor. And the Emperor, he is able to look through the chaos and the chaotic situations around him and bring order to his world and to his kingdom, right? So you have the ability to bring order to any kind of chaotic situation that may be around you. And that might end up being letting go of some things, some thoughts, some thought patterns, and maybe even some people that are around you that are no longer serving you very well. And coming back into alignment with your own sense of inner calm and inner peace and your own inner being will really, really help you get to that point. Tuning into the inner wisdom and the ancient wisdom that surrounds you will be very, very helpful for you in this period. So that was my reading for you. It was a little quick today, but I want to make sure I can get through all of them. So hopefully that was good for you. Let me know in the comments either way what you thought. Check out my website, junodrome.com. I've got private readings with some discounts available for YouTube subscribers. So if you'd like a private reading with me, please hit me up about that. And follow me on Instagram at junodrome. I've got more stuff on there, as well as I'm starting a regular live tarot reading series. So check that out, and thanks. We'll see you later. Hey there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This reading is coming to you live from my favorite park in Seattle, Interlaken Park. This is my favorite little secret nature spot, so I'm glad I can bring you here to join me today. So this reading is a pick a card reading that is all about what it is you're ready to let go of. In inspiration from the full moon, even though by the time you're watching this, the full moon has already passed, this is still a good indication of what you're ready to let go of. And this is a timeless reading, so this could be, you can find this at any moment and it will still be applicable when you see it. So we'll start with the runes here. We've got Dagas, which is a rune meaning daylight and sunshine. And we have Kanas, which means openings. Originally, it referred to like a torch. It can also indicate, to me, it's kind of that light bulb moment, that aha moment. I've had another rune reader have Dagas be the rune of aha moment. So if you listen to the two of us, you have a double aha breakthrough moment coming in here with those two together. So that's pretty great. For the Shamanic Healing Oracle, normally I read from the book for these as well to give you another person's perspective and more insight into the reading. Unfortunately, I forgot the booklet today coming outside, so you'll just have my own interpretation today of these. But you have new beginnings, which is excellent, to be with those aha moments, like perfect. And then you have sexual energy, which can refer to the creative energies within us. So can indicate opening up into a new creative period. This might be my artistic pile here, so that would be great. For the Rider-Waite-Smith deck tarot cards, we have the Knight of Swords, the King of Cups, the Hermit, the King of Swords, and your final card is Strength. And now for the hand-drawn deck, the one that I made myself, we've got the Nine of Cups, the Five of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Devil, and your final card is the Two of Wands. So right away, the thing that's jumping out to me the most here is this combination of we've got the Devil and the Hermit together. I think because this is a spread specifically talking about what it is you're ready to let go of. I think that I can see a little bit of a pattern here. And I think that maybe you've had, you might be the kind of person to self-isolate. You may have had some difficult situations with people in your past, maybe from childhood or whatever the case. I can see potentially that you may have, really struggled with relationships in the past. And that's left you feeling kind of like you only have yourself to rely on. I think that that's made you very strong in a lot of ways, because we have the Strength card here as well. I think you're an incredibly strong and courageous person. And I think that you potentially have taken on a lot on your shoulders, kind of a deal. Now, I don't have the Ten of Swords or Ten of Wands here, which would indicate that more than anything. But I do think that potentially you have been in a situation where you've isolated yourself, and that's been a little bit of a challenge for you, right? The Devil can indicate sort of addictions or difficult situations, and that can be internal processes as well, of being really stuck in a certain mode of thinking, in a certain way of being. And I think for you it might be this go it alone kind of mentality, and that can be really helpful and healthy in a lot of ways. But I think for you in this particular situation, I think that it's time to let go of the idea that you have to do everything on your own, that you have to be solely responsible for everything that is happening around you, and that in order to make your dreams come true, that you have to be totally alone about it, right? I think that potentially it's time to start looking for help, and being open to asking for help when it's around. And I think that maybe this is kind of a period that you're coming out of, because we have this new beginnings and this aha moment. So from whatever's happening here, I think that you are about ready to start into something brand new. We have the Five of Cups here. which in my particular deck that I drew myself has a unique meaning, because normally in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's depicted as a man who is crying over 3 cups that have spilt, but he still has 2 left over. So there's still hope. He still has things remaining, but he's still focused on kind of the things that he's lost in his life. What's great about my card, though, is that there's only 1 card remaining. So it adds this extra dimension to say that, yes, it's incredibly painful that you've lost these 4 cups, but the 1 cup remaining has given you clearer insight into what it is that you want for you moving forward. So I think that maybe you've been through a situation of loss that's left you feeling deeply alone and potentially isolated. But what's great about that situation is now you are clearer than ever on who you are, on what you want, and on what life means to you, on how you want to move forward for you and your own self. And I think that that is going to be your guiding light moving forward. And I think that you're ready to move forward because you have the 2 of Wands here, which in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is depicted as a man who is standing, holding the world in his hand, looking at it, gazing at it, and saying, okay, where am I ready to go next? He's completed his first set of tasks, and he's ready to go off and journey, into the sunset, quote unquote. So this card is kind of asking you, like, where is it that you want to go next? What is it that you want to do next? And, who are you? What do you want in life? And I think that you're really starting to understand those things. I think that potentially what these difficult situations have taught you is how to be resilient and how to find yourself and your own guiding light no matter what. And so I think that it's finally time for you to let go of maybe some of these negative things from your past that have held you back, to let go of them and to move forward with this new sense of peace and inner knowing. You have a new sense of inner knowing. And you have both the King and the Queen of Swords here. And the Knight of Swords. Wow. Okay, so this is indicating a lot of mental energy going on here. The swords are all about the mind and the mental sphere. And the Knight to me represents the sort of the movement within the suit that's happening. So it shows that you have movement and growth and change within your mental body and your mental sphere. And because you have both the King and the Queen of Swords, those are kind of the 2 culmination cards of the whole suit. To me, that's talking about really coming into a self-mastery of your mental space and your mental sphere. So I think that maybe you've been through some very difficult thought patterns, and based on the situations from your life, maybe you're somebody who suffered from anxieties or some kind of internal churning, and continuous churning. But I think that you're ready to come out on the other side of this thing. I think that through your own personal strength and courage, you've been able to tackle those inner demons. You've looked them straight in the face, and now you're ready to let go of them because you've worked through them. This to me is indicating that you've done some work in this sphere, on yourself and on your mind, and then maybe, to continue to do that, right? And that's going to help you connect deeper to your own inner self, because we have the King of Cups here, who is the culmination of the cup suit. And the cups are all about emotions, the emotional body, love, kindness, our own inner sense of emotional well-being. And the King of Cups is sort of the culmination of that. He's very, very, very in tune with his emotions, and that allows him to be very in tune with his creativity. So this sexual energy here, to me, is coming in with that as well. Of you're now able to enter into this new creative period. You have this new beginnings. The sexual energy indicates this creative spirit. With the King of Cups here, you've gone through some emotional setbacks with this 5 of Cups and difficulties, but because you have this 1 cup remaining now, that means you have very clear insight on who you are, what you want, and how to go and get it. And it's coming from this place of, maybe you were in this solitude period and it's really helped you, right? He's got this guiding light there. So he's let himself become alone in order to gain these further insights. But now it's time to let go of that isolation, right? I think that's the biggest thing here, is you're ready to meet other people. And and to go out and journey, to travel, whether it's real travel or, inward travel. It's a difficult time for us to be traveling right now with everything that's happening in the world, particularly if you're in the United States like I am. Just weird stuff's happening right now, but at least you're ready to journey off onto your new life and your new spirit. So follow that immediately. And when you do that, you'll end up in the Nine of Cups, which is kind of like this ultimate love energy. She has gotten her emotional fulfillment, and it's not the 10, but it's the 9, which is kind of like her on her own. She is her own. She's learned how to become her own emotional fulfillment, so she can fulfill herself and her goals and her dreams by trusting in who she is. So you have that available to you. Yeah, so that's your spread. I think that's going to be it today. Let me know in the comments what you think either way. I'd love to hear from you. Check out my website, junodrome.com. I've got some private readings available. I've done a few of them. I really, really enjoy doing them. So if you want one with me, please let me know. And also check out my Instagram at junodrome. I've got a lot of content on there as well, mostly follow my life, my pictures and stuff, but I'm doing live readings as well now twice a month, so check that out. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you later. Hi there, pile number 3. I ended up having to move around a little bit, so here's your reading from a different location than where I was before. This is fun, doing it outside. Okay, so we'll start off with your Shamanic Healing Oracle cards. Normally, I will read directly from the book for these as well, but I don't have the book on me, so we'll just have this reading be channeled as much as possible. So the first card that we have is Ascension, and Ascension talks about being in this place of coming to a greater understanding of your own sense of you on a spiritual level. In the book it talks about how there's this idea that in fiction there's this idea that you're all this moment of now I am ascending to these spiritual realms or whatever, and it's that's not really how it works, right? It's sort of we're constantly evolving as beings, as human beings, as spiritual beings, and that this life will continue to give us lessons, and will continue to evolve as we grow. And there's never one ending ascension place. It's just a continual growth of you coming into a better understanding of what even that means, The second card that you have is Home. And this card talks about how it's important to come to an understanding of home no matter where you are, right? To make home you on the inside. It's coming to home, coming into a sense of home within yourself, and realizing and understanding that home can be anywhere that you go, right? Home is where the heart is, right? It's exactly that sentiment, where it's it's not just where you live, but it's how you embody your own life, coming home to you. For the hand-drawn tarot deck, this one I made myself, we have the Seven of Swords, the Lovers, the Empress, the Eight of Wands, Temperance, and the final card is the Ten of Wands. Okay. for the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck that you have, we have the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and the Moon. Okay, so this reading is all about what it is you're ready to let go of, right? What it is in your life that is being asked to move on from. Because we're in a full moon period, whether you're watching this on the full moon or not, full moons are all about releasing and what it is that is in our lives that we're ready to let go of. And so for you, I'm really getting a sense that you've kind of been getting in your own way in a certain sense in certain aspects of your life, and what you need to release is you getting in your own way. And I don't mean to laugh, because it's something that we all do. I've definitely been there a lot in life. And this is kind of just like showing you a little bit of that, right? You have the Ten of Wands here, which talks about being overburdened. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's depicted as a man who's like lugging these 10 wands around with him, and they're just like way too heavy. And he doesn't actually need to be lugging all of them, but he has all of this sense of obligation and necessity, right? He's got, you know, based on his lived experiences, his circumstances, his the way that he was raised and believed that he had to live. Excuse me. Allergy season. All of these things have added up to make him think that he has to lug all of these 10 wands around by himself, but he doesn't. He can put them down. He can go and ask for help from somebody. He can go do these. And not all of these things are things he actually needs to be doing. They're just 10 things he thinks he has to be doing. So this is talking about the idea that it's time to let go of taking everything on yourself, and the idea that you have to go above and beyond to achieve your goals and your dreams. You don't necessarily. You don't need to work harder than is necessary. And sometimes this can talk about like overworking. You also have the Nine of Swords here, which talks about being in a worried state. The swords are all about the mental body and the mental sphere. And the Nine of Swords talks about anxiety. It's kind of the classic anxiety card. So for this, I think that there's potentially some inner thought loops that keep coming back up again and again. And this is kind of talking about finding a way to let go of those. And that can sound easier said than done, but a lot of times all that means is walking away. And when you're in a funk, when you're in a situation where you just can't stop these thought loops, recognizing that it's happening is the first thing. When you can see that it's happening, then slowing down, taking deep breaths, and removing yourself from whatever situation you're in can really, really, really help. So I think that potentially this inner conflict and this inner kind of anxiousness mixed with a sense of needing to take everything on alone is sort of where we can see some things of where it's time to let go. You know, you also have the deception card here, the Seven of Swords, which talks about it can either be somebody deceiving you, or in this particular case, I think it can talk about self-deception. So it's like looking at within and seeing like, okay, where am I being too hard on myself? How am I being too hard on myself? Where can I let go of that load? You know, where can I let go of this sense of obligation in order to achieve all of these things? And how can I come to an inner sense of peace and calm within myself? How can I come back into self-love and self-help and be there for myself and not get in my own way? How can I let go of some negative thought patterns and some ideas of myself that are not true, that I hold on to from past experiences, from traumas from childhood, from all of these things? How can I let go of that and come back into a sense of calm and peace, right? Because at the end of the day, we are not our pasts. Even though we have lived a rich and deep past in order to get to the present moment, and we can thank ourselves from the past for all of those things that have happened to us, to give us these greater insights and this greater learning. At the end of the day, right now, right here is all that there is, and everything that has existed before this moment is gone. It really isn't here anymore. And anything that's coming in the future, as much as we want to put all of our stock into the future, that's not here either yet. Like, we have ideas and plans, and we can take action on those plans, but at the end of the day, all of that has to come in the present moment. Everything that you're building for the future has to be present right here, right now. And anything from the past is gone. It's time to let go of those things. And so this spread is really kind of talking to me about this idea that you can start to let go of some of these things that you feel you're supposed to be doing because of your past experiences and the society that's around you, and start to come into a better sense of yourself, right? Start to come home to yourself and to begin this sort of spiritual ascension, which just means coming back into alignment with your own inner desires and your own inner being, instead of following this script that exists within you based on your past experiences. You've got the Lovers here, which could honestly indicate love coming into your life. I think for you, potentially, a lot of times I talk about self-love, and I've talked about that in this pile as well. So I think that that's actually a part of it as well, is coming to a sense of loving yourself, not working against yourself with the Seven of Swords, but working with yourself and for yourself, right? At the end of the day, you are living this life for you and no one else. This is your life to achieve and work and do everything that you feel you need to. And you can let go of some of these supposed to's, these situations that you feel you're supposed to be doing, because at the end of the day, you're living your life for you, right? You have the Empress here, and she is all about this idea of the divine feminine. She is the archetypal feminine aspect that exists for all of us. And so she is kind of like offering this idea for you to stop feeling like you have to do and go and do and push. That's the masculine ideal. The feminine is more about receiving. She opens herself up to receiving the things that she needs. She doesn't push. She lets go and lets things come to her. So she puts it out there into the universe, the things that she wants to manifest, and then she allows them to come to her instead of forcing things so hard in her life and feeling like she needs to be constantly pushing. So I think that once you learn how to let this go, right, you've got the Six of Swords here, which is all about moving on. It's moving into a new direction. You had past sorrows, right? These Seven Swords indicate that there was a sorrowful time, but now you're getting on this boat and you're moving in a new direction, and that new direction is actually promising a brighter future for you. So by learning how to let go of some of this stuff that you've been holding on to, you actually allow yourself to move into the life that you want. And I think that this is something you've been working on for some time, right? Because you have the Seven of Cups here, Seven of Pentacles here, and the Seven of Pentacles is all about sort of putting in a ton of work into a situation. You've done a lot of work here. You've put in work in your life and in aspects of your life, and you're almost ready to reap those rewards. This card is kind of indicating that harvest is just about here. It's not quite harvest season yet, but it's coming. So just have faith that you will be reaping the rewards of the hard emotional work that you've been putting into yourself, and physical work and whatever it is to change your circumstances. That work isn't really going to be going unnoticed. It's here and now. It's just that you just have to wait a little bit longer for it to come, but it is coming, because you have the Nine of Pentacles, and she is sort of basking in her own ultimate abundance. So you have your own private ultimate abundance coming for you specifically. It's coming. It's almost here. You just have to learn how to get out of your own way a little bit, because by deceiving yourself and getting stuck in these thought loops and this negative thinking, it actually hinders this abundance from coming in. So the more that you get stuck in those thought loops, you're actually kind of delay the things that you want in life. So it's time to let those things go. When they come up, see them, acknowledge them, and release them. And especially right now, now is a great time to be doing these releasing exercises because it is still the full moon energy. When you see this, you'll still have a little bit left of it, and so that's important. You can totally release this. And then the final, speaking of moons here, the final card is the moon, right? So at the end of the day, right, I think this is talking about the moon cycle. So I hope that you see this in the first day or two that I post it, because then it's really talking about the full moon. But otherwise, check back in with this next full moon and really do some releasing rituals, because I think that will help you a lot. Yeah, check out my Instagram at JunoDrome for a releasing ritual that I posted there. And these can be really helpful. So yeah, anyway, I think that's going to be it. I think I'm going to leave your reading there. Just check in with yourself more, and come back home to yourself, because you're there waiting for you, right? The love that you have for yourself is there, and it's deep. It's just asking you to check back in, slow down when you're experiencing some head stuff. Just slow down, take a break, take a breather, go outside, get some fresh air, stretch your legs, go for a run. I don't know, whatever you do, take some time for you and slow down, and then you've got that. Check back into the self-love. The love for you is really necessary, and will help you. Checking back in with your heart space, connecting with your heart center. That is where you have deep love for yourself. Healing and checking in with your heart center can really, really, really help you, and will help you through this situation. So that's what I got for you. Just tell me in the comments either way what you think. Check out my website, www.junodrome.com, for private reading. I've got some discounts for YouTube subscribers, so I would love to do some readings for you. And that's it. Oh, check me out on Instagram at JunoDrome. I've got extra things on there as well. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be back again soon.